Hello, everybody. This is Jailbird Earl with Jailbird Earl Jr. We're talking again about The Eye of the World, The Wheel of Time, from the Wheel of Time series. And we're going to go, this will be spoilers. We're going to talk more about the characters
If you don't like spoilers, get off.
and what we do and don't like about the book, about the storyline. And so our last video that we did was just basically
A horrible review.
a horrible review, he
It was
says.
a pretty bad review, considering we gave away a lot.
But yeah, so this time we're going to dive right into this book and try to talk about some of its main points.
And if you haven't watched the first video, well, we are kind of swapping this because this is my first time writing this series.
Right.
So yay.
Yep, this is his first time, and this is my second time. So by no means are we experts. We're just your normal fans, I
I'm
guess.
not. I wouldn't
No,
call
normal
myself
fans,
a
but
fan,
normal
yeah.
readers.
Yeah,
Normal readers.
That sounds
Right.
better.
Yeah.
Now, if we were doing Wings of Fire and called me a fan, that'd be 100% true. But
Right.
with this, I've only read one book.
Right. So we're not fanatics and we're not haters. So let's talk about some of the main characters. So the main characters are basically
I'd like to say something first.
yeah.
So, like, advice for if you guys are writing a book, if anyone watches this, try to make it so the names are, like, able to be pronounced, because in this book, there's a lot of names that I have no idea how to even start pronouncing. It's just like, thankfully, there's a glossary with a pronunciation.
Right. So your biggest problem with the book is you can't pronounce the name.
I can't pronounce the names! So
Um,
so every time I see a name that, like, resorts to something else, like, with Myrdral, I'm just gonna be. I think of Fade instead of Myrdral because I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just like, is that Myrdral or something else?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's my least of my worries is if I can pronounce it. Well, anyways, let's talk about
Yeah,
the main
that's
characters.
right. It's your reader's worries.
Let's talk about the main characters. So we're going to talk about Rand and Matt and Matrim or Matt and Perrin, and then you have the
Nina
women
Eve.
Egwene.
And Nina Eve. That's
And
like one of the names.
Nynaeve.
Nina Eve.
No,
Nynaeve.
Nynaeve. is
Wait, what's the A after the N then?
it's just Nynaeve.
Naviv.
Nynaeve.
Nynaeve.
Yes. Nynaeve. Okay, and then we're going to talk about Moraine,
Moraine.
Moraine, and Lan. Those are the five main characters.
Except it's never told in some
Yeah,
of those.
and then we'll talk about some of the villain. We'll talk about the main villain is
Which is also hard to pronounce because it's hyphenated.
It's Beelzebub, isn't it?
Balzamin.
Yeah, that's it. Balzamin.
If Beelzebub is the devil dad, is another name for the devil.
I don't always get them. Always get them.
Well, I mean, they are technically the same thing.
Right. All right. So let's talk about Rand here. Rand is his dad is a sheep herder, and
He's a
my
farm.
back hurts. We need to get chairs that have backing.
we need to get a whole bunch of things like a better camera.
Yeah, our camera's fine. Anyway, so we're talking about Rand. He's a sheep herder.
Definitely using up.
And he's the one that his point of view is probably 95%. He gets the most of the point of view.
It's so
of the story.
annoying sometimes because I like one of the other characters' point of views more.
Yeah,
It's just like it's like just one of those books where it's just like you just want to skip because you want to see this character's point of view.
right.
And then it doesn't work because it doesn't. The characters no longer have a point of view that you want to read.
Right. Yeah. So Rand has the majority, and then you have Perrin, who has a little bit,
Eve has it.
and Nynaeve.
9. Well, what? Oh, it's kind of like the Greek pronunciation.
Yes, I guess so.
9 Eve. A Eve is the E.
Okay. Right. So, but Rand. So did you like Rand?
Rand gets on my nerves sometimes. I mean, like, he's a cool character, but he gets on my nerves because all he does is thinks about things. Or he's always thinking, he doesn't really do much other than think,
Thinking.
and I'm just like, just do it!
He likes to think a lot. I don't know. I like Rand.
It's just like, running for your life? Oh, should I run for my life? Probably.
Okay. I like Rand. Rand is somebody in this book who wants to do good. His farm is attacked by these things called Trollocs. Trollocs. And these Trollocs are half human, half beast.
If you want to know if you want to see if you can find a picture of it, literally just go to your garbage search bar and probably type in Trolloc.
Yep, there
But,
you go.
or if you don't want to do that, you can just imagine a skinwalker and then you got it.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, like that, and his family gets
I have
attacked.
a feeling you don't even know what that is.
No, I don't.
Oh, well, they're just... Never mind this. Not for this video!
No, this is not what we're talking about, skinwalkers.
They're just shapeshifters. Don't get the wrong idea, okay?
Alright, well, Trollocs are shapeshifters.
No, but what I mean is, they don't look right. That's what I mean. Because they're shapeshifters, but in their normal form, they don't look right. Okay, we're getting off topic. Let's go!
Alright, so we're talking about Rand, and his farm gets attacked, and his dad gets hurt, and he has like a fever dream, and so this is when Rand finds out.
Spoiler,
Or not
you're not my son.
Right. So he finds out, or maybe he finds out, that perhaps he isn't Tam's real son, because Tam talks about in his fever dream that, that how he found his baby, and how his wife always wanted to have a child and stuff like that.
Rand althor.
Right.
What's up with the owl?
I think it means son or something like that.
I
think it means son or something like that.
It sounds kind of like it would be in Spanish, but it's not.
No, I don't think it would be Spanish.
I know, but it sounds like it could be something like that.
It'd be more like
AL or something, right?
I think it's more like Welsh, maybe.
Welsh.
Yep. Or yeah.
I was about to ask what Welsh is, and I'm like, oh wait, no, that's a language.
Yes, it's a language. Anyway, so Rand's a good guy. He's a boy who he's like your normal. He's a teenager.
I thought he was a girl.
He's a normal teenager, and he does get in trouble. And as you see through this story, that he doesn't make the most logical decisions at times.
Most logical.
And he gets in trouble.
He makes the worst possible decisions sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he
It's
does.
like, oh, this is an obvious choice. Let's open this big giant path, and it's like, this is the right way. And then you get this little tiny crack. It's like, I'm gonna go try that, go that way. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Right. So he goes, and one thing about this is he has dreams.
Ba'alzam invades his nightmares.
Right, and so he starts. I think does he call him Luke Theron?
What?
No, maybe not, because you don't remember it. Okay, so he calls him a different name.
Boy.
And Dragon Reborn.
Boy.
Calls him
This
boy.
book is 800 pages long. I wouldn't remember the beginning.
Well, so anyway, so
I
he
mean,
has
like-
dreams about a man trying to get him and
Yes.
trying to
And is the
seduce him to
Yeah.
the evil.
Now you see the description of this guy is like really odd, because I was like, his eyes were like a furnace, and I'm just like, what? And I kept thinking of a guy with like an actual furnace in his head. I'm just like, I can't get that thought out of my head.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, it's probably more like that flames erupting from his eyeballs.
Yeah, kind of like his eyes have got fire in them.
But yeah.
Yep. So he goes and absolutely knows nothing. He doesn't. He never carried a sword before.
He's just like,
And,
plop, you got a sword. I don't know how to use this too bad.
Right. So, but he ends up being the hero in the end, just like your typical
Yeah,
fantasy
the end-
story.
Okay, so like the end when he's actually doing it, and he's like doing all this crazy stuff, and he like beats an entire army. I'm just like, what is this? And I'm like, wow, you say that the freaking magic thing in my books are bad. I'm just like, what is this?
Right.
The whole world is his to commands.
Right. So he gets to the source, the Eye of the World. They get to the Eye of the World. And he's able to possess. Yeah, I guess possess the.
No, it's not possess. It's like taking a string and wrapping it around a stick, kind of. It's
Yeah.
you're manipulating it.
But he gets to control the one power. This one power lets you do magical things.
I don't think it's control. I think it's more like I think the elements are more like controlling him at that time, because he's literally doing nothing.
Right.
Just
So-
pounding at the ground, and that's it.
Yeah.
And everything's just blowing up around him.
So what I understand is there's this whole army of Trollocs getting ready to invade the humans, and he kind of causes like a huge avalanche, right?
No. The sky starts shooting lightning, the earth starts
yeah.
exploding,
Right.
the
Yep, I
wind
remember
starts
it.
going nuts. Basically, any element you can think of starts going crazy when this guy shows up, and the whole army's basically decimated.
Right.
And I'm just thinking back to Animus Magic, and I'm just like, what is this?
Right,
I'm just like,
so-
wow. You
Yep.
really don't. You really think this is OP? I think this is OP.
Very OP. But he can't do it all the time.
And when he doesn't want to do it, sometimes it just does it by itself. Like when it actually was happening, he was doing nothing. He didn't even want to do it. It was just happening.
Right. So yeah, so he does that, And then he kills all these Trollocs, and then he has to fight these three.
Yeah, he was bad enough to scare away.
Forsakens.
Yeah, he was bad enough to scare away like some of the worst worst dark things ever.
Yeah.
I wanted to call them Darklings, but that's not what they're called.
No, this is Trollocs.
It's not Trollocs. They're like whatever flippin' heck they're called. Drakai.
Pterodactyls.
Man bats.
Pterodactyls.
We're gonna call them man
They're
bats
this
now.
huge bird-like leather creatures.
They have bat-like wings, but they have like the heads of a human and really sharp teeth, and they're like really big.
Yeah. So, anyways, get into the video here. So, anyways, he's able to defeat them
And Bowsman.
and Bowsman, and that's kind of weird because
And then he fight, yeah.
they have like
I'm
he
so-
has a string of light to him, and
Yeah, I'm just like
and Bowsman has a string of darkness to him.
And I'm just like,
And
what
the
the heck does this string mean?
Well, that's they're getting their power from the
The string.
two
yeah.
different
And
sources.
it's just like, boom, and it's a cut.
Yeah, he cuts Bowsman's string, and then he burns, right?
Like, he shoots fire at him and he explodes.
Right.
But he's not dead.
Right.
Wait, is he the Forsaken you were talking about in the last video? Because
Yes, I said 3
Oh, well,
Forsaken.
and
He's actually a Forsaken.
okay. Well, in this book, alright. Here's another problem with the book. The lore apparently goes all over the place. It's not consistent.
The lore is consistent.
No, because like in this book, it makes Bowsman seem like the actual host of the Dark One, and then
Oh.
you have, and I'm like, hey, Dad, did you know that is this really what it is? And he's like, no, he's just a dreadlord. I'm just like, are you sure about that? Because it says right here.
Well, as farther you go into the books, it gets more concise. The more
It was
farther-
concise in this book,
the
and then I
longest
talked to
one.
you about it, and I was lost.
Yeah. All right, we went way off topic here. We could spent 15 minutes on Rand.
Well, Rand's a pretty important character.
Yeah, he is very important.
I want to talk about the ships though. Those are funny ships.
Well, we don't have time on this video. So, anyways, we'll continue talking about Rand.
Yeah, we just have a bunch of videos on each of the characters.
I guess we are. But anyways, Rand in this book, like he starts as a shepherd, and as he progresses, he gets more and more confident. I guess more and more reliable.
Yeah,
as a character.
Okay, he gets more confident and reliable, but he also seems to get dumber.
Well, yeah.
He seems.
What he does.
I mean, like, hey, at least he's acting though, instead of just being like think.
Right. What Robert Jordan does very well is he has really well rounded characters, very three-dimensional. You see that they got their strengths. He's really good at describing their strengths and their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And there's some things you'll like about a character, like there's some things you'll like about Rand.
Rand would never pass the second grade after in our time because you have to do like a multiplication thing for like you have to complete 100 multiplication problems in like 5 minutes. He'd probably take his time to think through every single one.
That's not really Rand. He's more rash.
Well, he becomes more rash at the end. If he was at
Yeah.
the beginning of the book, he'd be thinking.
You're thinking more about Perrin. Perrin's very thoughtful before he does anything. But
yeah, but when he does it, he's more calculative. He's like
Yeah.
he's anticipating, and then you have Matt, who's just like that one guy who's like you're like wait, and then he just comes in swinging a sword like he comes like that.
Yeah. So
That's basically what he is.
Yeah. Oh,
Three main characters that have nothing to do with each other's.
Well, that's good.
emotions.
Yeah, that's really good though. There's three different. You can tell they're three different people.
Yeah, they haven't really rubbed off on each other.
I will say, Rand in this book, I like this version of Rand the best, and then later on in the series, I get where I don't really like Rand.
Well, that's because I mean that's not really his
But
fault.
real quick before we end this video, Rand is your typical fantasy character.
Pretty
Starts
much.
out as being a peasant, and as he goes along, he finds out that he's more and more important.
And he starts just
gets
decimating entire
more and more
armies.
powerful.
Just
and
like the
such.
guys who were actually fighting the war, they were like, we didn't even win this battle. The earth just started going nuts.
Right.
Just like, yep.
And by the end, he's by the end he learned he's not all knowing, but you see that he's grown as a character and
Yeah.
he's able to defeat the villains and basically by himself because he has a little help but not much. Anyways, this is part two, I guess, of this. So we're just
Part
talking
two
about
out of
Rand and
part something.
other ramblings. So until next time, have a great day.
Bye-bye.